In this episode of Get Real with Rajiv, I'm going to be answering questions around how do you deal with negative coworkers around you. I'm also going to be talking about what's the right balance between transparency and secrecy with your team members as an entrepreneur. I'm also going to be sharing with you about how do you set your goals and actually achieve those goals, because many people set goals but they don't achieve them. And finally, I'm going to talk about how do you make the right career choice. Should you pursue a job? Should you start a business? Should you pursue further education? I'm going to be answering all of these 4 questions in episode number 73 of Get Real with Rajiv. So make sure you tune in. Hello everyone, welcome to episode number 73 of Get Real with Rajiv. And like every single week, I'm going to be answering 4 questions for all of you. And today again, Pawan is going to be the voice of your questions. I'm almost disappointed, only Pawan is the voice of your questions. So Pawan, what's the first question?
The first question is from Priya Devadiga. How to deal with negative coworkers?
Well, Priya, if these are people who are your peers, which means they are at the same level in the organization as you are, and these are people who are negative for the sake of being negative, where they crib and cry about everything, they blame and complain about everything, then I really empathize with you that you are in an environment where you're surrounded by a bunch of people who have the habit of being negative. So I also understand, Priya, that there's a risk. There's a risk you run into if you don't mix into their negativity, if you don't bitch along with them, if you don't gossip along with them, then you run into the risk of being labeled as a chart or a cheli or someone who's a sucker of the boss and all of those kind of things. So I know you are in a challenging situation if you have co-workers who are like these. But having said that, here's what I would say. Firstly, be proud of who you are. Be proud of yourself, because you have the consciousness and the awareness to catch people and catch yourself when people are just being negative for the sake of being negative. And I see this as a common pattern at workplaces where there's nothing to cry but people will still cry. There's nothing to complain but people will still complain. So be proud of yourself, Priya, for firstly having the consciousness and the awareness of saying, hey, why are we complaining, or why is everybody just whining for the sake of whining? Because you are not like that average 16-year-old who just joined college and wants to drink and smoke just to fit into a bunch of fools who are insecure about themselves. So you're not that person. And while you're not that person, those bunch of fools who are drinking and smoking at an age that they shouldn't, they will look at you and say, come on, Priya, you need to loosen up, you need to take life a little chill. You don't have to fall into that trap. So be proud of yourself, even if you're a misfit. Even if you're a misfit, be proud of yourself, because these are the kind of moments or phases in one's life where an individual's value system gets shaped. So this discomfort is actually a great opportunity for you to shape your own value system, where you can design for yourself who you are as a person. And you can tell yourself, I'm not the kind of person who will be negative for the sake of being negative. I'm not the kind of person who will shrug away my responsibility and blame others, or work at a workplace with conditional commitment saying if they do this, then I will do that. So you are actually in the process of shaping your own value systems, and that's why you're being challenged by your environment. And be proud, like I said, of who you are being. And be okay with being that misfit. At the same time, have a balanced view in terms of when there is a merit in the point of view of people, agree to them, understand them, have empathy towards them. Don't look down upon them, because sometimes you run into the risk of looking down upon people who are complaining and blaming. Just have empathy. Say that I understand what you're feeling, I know where you're coming from, but always keep challenging them for doing what's right. If they have a concern with the manager or the boss, challenge them saying, what's the point of talking amongst ourselves? Go and talk to the boss, approach, okay, and don't go out there to blame, but clarify before you get into a conflict in your head. So challenge people to do what's right. This is the phase where you start becoming a leader. This is the phase where people start respecting you. You may not be the most liked person, Priya, but you will definitely earn a lot of respect. So go through this process, be the communication force, be the binding force at your workplace, where you're challenging both your superiors as well as your peers to do what's right in the situation, which is in the best interest of the workplace and of everybody. When you're able to do that, Priya, you will emerge as a leader. So it's an interesting phase, enjoy it. With that, let's go to the second question for this week. So Pawan, what's the second question?
We have Kunal asking, Disclosing business secrets is leading to employees leaving after learning them. How to deal with this?
Well, Kunal, this is the biggest dilemma of entrepreneurs, right? Should I be transparent in my approach, or should I keep all my cards close to my chest and maintain secrecy as an approach? And let me tell you this, both have their pros and cons. Transparency creates vulnerability, which sometimes is, in most of the cases, is a great value add because people see you being open and they trust and respect that. But at the same time, it also gives you the scope of being taken for a ride, taken for granted, because people who don't come with the right value systems can misuse that transparency. Secrecy, on the other hand, it creates a disconnect. And that stops your employees from taking ownership, that stops them from playing their 100%. So if you ask me, my personal choice as an entrepreneur is I'm a sucker for transparency. I've built my businesses over the last 14 years based on this premise and principle of transparency. But I'll tell you what has worked well for me. When I talk about transparency, what works well for me is each one has absolute clarity and a detailed level of clarity of anything to do which is related to their role. And they also have macro clarity of where the business is at financially. I'm not sitting and opening my P&L account for people, but at the same time, my team knows what is our top line revenue, what's our average profitability. They have that consciousness. Now, seeing that, have certain people felt excited and told themselves, oh, if there's so much money in this business, I can do it myself? I'm saying, please be my guest, because I know what a back-breaking exercise entrepreneurship is. And thankfully for me, over the last 14 years, there are enough stories and evidences of people who've left with the wrong intention, with the intention of greed and wanting to do more, even when they are not capable enough, and have not gotten anywhere in their life. So my business is built on these stories because culture is created by stories. So I'm a sucker for transparency, and what works really well in keeping the environment in control, even though you're transparent, is there's a genuine care and interest me and my business partners have to make sure that every team member of ours gets their adequate financial growth and career growth. And when your people see that intention in you, they really treasure that transparency. But when you miss out on taking care of their interest in terms of financial growth and career growth, and you're just being transparent, then you create a scope for people's mind to deviate and start thinking, saying, if I do it by myself, what will it be? So I would say transparency along with clarity of career growth and a culture which is a win-win-win culture where people are treated with respect, people are treated with a lot of trust, people are treated fairly. I think a mix of all of these things actually helps you build a business strongly on the basis of transparency. So Kunal, that is my advice to you. Build it on the premise of transparency, but build it with genuine care where you want to see financial growth and career growth for your team members. When you do that, you will see you won't face the challenge that you're facing right now. Which brings me to the third question of this week's episode of Get Real with Rajiv. So Pawan, what's the third question?
Sagar Arora is asking, hi Rajiv, I've been watching your episodes of Get Real with Rajiv for a long time. It is very enlightening. What I want to know from you is, I set my goals every year. I also write them out in a diary, but I'm not able to achieve them at all. When we exactly don't know how to achieve these goals, what to do? What should I do on a daily basis so that I can achieve the goals I've set for 2021?
Well, Sagar, let me break down the science of achievement for you. And this is the science of achievement, not just for your business or your financial goals, but it could be for your relationship goals, it could be for your health goals. So here is like the science of achievement, if I have to break down the elements of the science of achievement. The first element is clarity of goals itself. You need to have clear goals in every area of your life, your health, your wealth, your relationship, your career or your business, your recreation, your contribution, your spirituality. You need to first know what do you want, which is the clarity of goals. The second element in the science of achievement is the clarity of strategies, which means, let's just say for me, okay, I am someone who's grown up with the belief saying, I come from a healthy family, khate peete ghar se aate hain, to six pack is a dream, family pack is a reality every day. And I've not been a very athletic person through my school life. I've been somebody whose image of himself is, I can't be thin, I can't be fit. And when you have those kind of baggage and layers, you need the right strategy. So today, say for my health, I have a strategy. I have a strategy that says 20 days of workout in a month, 3 liters of water every day, 8 hours of sleep no matter what, every single day, eating right, and I have a tracker to manage eating right, eating outside only twice in a week and not more than that. So these are strategies to be able to achieve that goal. It's a lifestyle. It's not just, okay, it's not a crash course or a diet. It's a lifestyle change. So those are the strategies to achieve that goal. In the same way in business, you need to have strategies to achieve your goal. In terms of investment and money management, you need to have strategies that, okay, I'll do equity, I'll do SIP, I'll do some freedom plans, I'll do this and that. So you got to have clarity of goals, then clarity of strategy. And to have clarity of strategy, you need to build your capabilities. You need to build the right skills, the right knowledge. You need to learn. You need to learn about health. You need to learn about wealth creation. You need to learn about building your business, the various aspects in your business like marketing, sales, operations, R&D, accounts, human resources, management. You need to learn about emotions, relationships. Everything in life needs to be learned. Nobody is born with it. And I'll tell you, there's a bunch of this planet, a large portion of this planet who doesn't look at learning as a strategy, who doesn't look at learning as a priority. And those people live life in ignorance. That's why they live unhealthy lives. That's why they build mediocre businesses. That's why they struggle in careers. That's why they have poor relationships and they look at relationships as a headache. So if you don't have the capabilities, which is the right attitude, the right skills, right knowledge, and you're not learning them, then you can kind of delete yourself from the account of significant people on this planet, because you will remain insignificant. You will be just another person doing just another thing and struggling and suffering like just another human being. So clarity of goal, clarity of strategy, then capabilities required. You need to build them. It's a learning journey in every aspect of your life to build the right attitude, skill and knowledge to be able to execute those strategies. And then you need to also go deeper into your belief system around every single goal. What's your belief around your health? What's your belief around your relationships? What's your beliefs around your money management? What's your beliefs around your building your business? And you need to get coached on those beliefs, because until and unless you don't break those beliefs, then you are carrying a software which has a lot of bugs. There's no chance of you achieving the goals that you want to achieve. So it's a lot of self-work, working on your own conditioning, working on your own programming, working on your own beliefs, and you can't do this by yourself. So have a coach. Have a coach. Have somebody who can help you process your thoughts. Have somebody who can challenge you on your approach. You need to have somebody. Success is not a lonely sport. It's a team sport, and most people don't understand that. They think they've fallen from the sky and they can do it all by themselves. You can't. If you could do it all by yourself, you would have already done it. Face the reality. Just humble down a little bit and be willing to surrender to people who've been there and done that. So work on your beliefs. And the fifth element is build the habits. You need to commit yourself to certain habits, because results don't come out of law of attraction. They come out of law of action. You need to have the habits that align you to your goals. You can't say, I want to be fit, and then binge on cupcakes every evening and say, this is my only weakness. Or you can't say, I want to build a business and say sales is not my cup of tea. Then sit at home, do 108 ki jap mala. You got to see, I'll tell you why I get so passionate about this. Because I feel most people are liars. They say they want to be successful, but they don't do what it takes. They're not willing to surrender. They're not willing to learn. So the science of achievement is simple. Clarity of goals, clarity of strategy, clarity of capabilities. It's a journey of building those capabilities, working on your belief system in every area of your life, and developing the habits that is required to achieve those goals. When you do all of these things, that's when you start achieving and creating progress in every area of your life. And there's one last thing that will make you do all of these things, which is, according to me, the most important thing. Clarity of your purpose. Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to achieve those goals? Because if that why is not strong enough, if you don't have enough emotion there, if you don't have something that genuinely moves you into a zone where you become an unstoppable force, then all of this is just meaningless exercises. So you need to know why you want what you want. When you keep asking yourself that question and you keep creating an answer, then you find your connection to that answer, then you become an unstoppable force. So Sagar, I've done like a quick crash course on the science of achievement. I hope you found that useful. With that, let's go to the fourth and final question of this week's episode of Get Real with Rajiv. So Pawan, what's the fourth question?
We have Big Two Bow asking, I'm completely frustrated when I think about my career. I want to explore myself in business world, but at the same time, when I see my colleagues who are preparing for government jobs, I feel very uncomfortable because of the risk level involved in businesses. How do I deal with this?
Well, I can throw you a famous quote that everybody's throwing around nowadays saying, risk hai to ishq hai. But Bittu, on a serious note, each one to their own. Neither can you judge your friends who are looking for government jobs and are looking for that stability, security, and probably below the table earnings, nor can you judge yourself for having the aspiration of being an entrepreneur. It's really each one to their own. Like I can give you an example. When I started my journey as an entrepreneur back in 2006, I was 20 years old, and everybody around me was either looking for campus jobs where we get into KPMG, Deloitte, EY, or Goldman Sachs, or they were preparing for a CA, their CA chartered accountancy exams, or they were preparing for the CAT exam to get into a B school. And did I look at getting a job for myself? Yes, I did. And did I land a job on campus? Yes, I did. But it was my dad who kind of said, look, if they are willing to pay you so much, it means you're way more valuable than that. Don't take up a job, start your own business. And this I'm talking about 2006. Today parents think it's cool for the children to start up. Back then getting a job was like the ultimate success out of your graduation, right? So I was blessed with a very courageous father who inspired me to start my own business. And when I started my own business and my friends took up all these corporate jobs, they got starting salaries of 30,000 rupees a month, 35,000 rupees a month as a graduate. And for me, for the first 6-8 months from my business, I was not even paying myself. In fact, after about 10 months in my business, I started paying myself 6,000 rupees a month. And when I would meet my friends, they would talk about how they're making 30,000, 35,000 a month. And then they would look at me and say, how much do you make? And when I spoke the truth saying, I'm just drawing 6,000 rupees a month, which is essentially my survival expenses from my business, people always tried to counsel me saying, tu pagal hai Rajiv, you're such an intelligent guy, you're one of the smartest, probably the smartest in the group, but you're wasting your life this way. But somewhere I had that belief that this is the journey I want to take. I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to figure things out myself, I want to create, I want to add value to people. And did I judge myself when people around me used to flaunt off their 35,000 pay packs as 21-year-olds? Yes, sometimes I would feel, am I doing the right thing? That self-doubt did come in. But I'll tell you, in the overall scheme of things, I'm so grateful for the journey that I took. And I'm sure, Bittu, you will be very grateful for the journey that you take, as long as it's the journey that you want to take. Don't get sucked into entrepreneurship because nowadays entrepreneurship is a fashion statement. Do it for the right reason. So instead of asking yourself, what's the right career choice, Bittu? Ask yourself, what do I want to create? What do I want to experience in my life? What's the path that I want to take? Because let me tell you this, no matter which path you take, will you have challenges? Yes. Will you have regrets? Yes. But you got to choose the path where even when you are having regrets, you know it's a path that you chose. It was not imposed upon you by somebody else. And that level of clarity of what's the journey I want to take, what will fulfill me the most, how do I want to serve more people? When you answer these kind of questions and you take that journey, I promise you it won't be easy. I promise you there will be a lot of self-doubt through the journey. But in the overall scheme of things, I think when you stay the course long enough, it's almost like you give the universe evidence saying, this boy deserves it. Okay? So stay the course, and always look at taking responsibility. I've seen people who become entrepreneurs and then become liaison agents who walk around government offices doing chamchagiri just to crack a big deal piche se. Do what resonates with your values. Don't become an opportunist. Don't stay greedy. I know I'm sounding like a 4th standard moral science teacher right now, but I'll tell you all of this works. Over a period of time, all of this works because you should be able to respect yourself when you go to sleep. So stay the course, my friend, and enjoy the uncertainty. So with that, we come to the end of episode number 73 of Get Real with Rajiv. I hope you found these answers useful, and if you did, do share this video so that more people can get access to this knowledge that we put out there. And if you have questions, then put them in the comments below, because I will answer more questions in the coming episodes as well. So this is me, Rajiv Talreja, signing off from episode number 73 of Get Real with Rajiv. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.